So welcome everyone to our webinar on UC exam transfer credit. And again, congratulations on your admission to the University of Cincinnati for the fall 2021 semester. My name is Megan Lindell, and I work for the International Admissions Office. And I'm joined by Sue Strakowski, and she works with our college credit services and our credit evaluation team. So I'm going to go to the next screen here. So for today, our agenda items will include confirming your admissions, just a quick reminder. We're going to do an overview of the types of credit and how to report your scores to the university. Sue's going to lead us in a demonstration on how to read our test key on our university's website to view how your credits will transfer into UC. And then also we're going to do a demonstration on how to find those credits once they are transferred in your Catalyst student portal. And then finally, we'll talk about orientation and academic advising and give you a quick list of resources that will be helpful for after the call, and then answer any questions you have. And just a reminder, as I'm going through the presentation, feel free to put any questions you have in the chat box. So you can go ahead and open the chat box and feel free to answer or put any questions in there. I will do my best, and Sue will help me. We'll both be answering questions throughout the presentation, but also be patient with us. We may be answering majority of them at the end as well. So the first step would be to confirm your admissions to University of Cincinnati if you've not done so already. This will then allow you to go ahead and register for orientation, which is very important in terms of getting registered for classes and meeting with your academic advisor. So these are just a quick review of the steps. You would go into your admissions portal, you would view your acceptance letter, and then you would go ahead and fill out the confirmation form and pay the $100 confirmation fee. Students can earn transfer credit for certain exams contingent on performance. So we get a lot of questions about what types of credits are eligible for exam credit. And the ones that we're going to be talking about today include the advanced level credit or A levels, AS or A levels, the IB or International Baccalaureate, and the AP or College Board Advanced Placement. Some examples of credit that is not eligible for exam awards would be the IGCSE or Cambridge International Certificate of General Education or O levels. That would not be eligible for this advanced level or transfer exam credit. So just a brief overview of A levels. I would assume that most of you, if you're here, we have a good number of students that have been completing A levels either within the UK or most of you outside of the UK. The advanced levels or advanced subsidiary levels are qualifications that range across a variety of subjects. For evaluation of A levels or AS levels, we will request that official documentation is sent from the testing organization to the University of Cincinnati. And this could come from a variety of testing organizations. The most common ones would be the Cambridge International Exams or CIE and the Pearson EdXL, but we also have students that are sending them from other exams as well within the UK or outside. The A level or AS equivalencies, we will award credit as long as you have a passing grade, so A through E, which I know is a little more generous than some other schools. So it's just important to kind of highlight that. That's a great opportunity at this point in time to be able to receive credit for those exams that you've taken. In terms of the A-level reporting timeline, typically, unless you've taken a gap year, students are reporting these results pretty close to when we're starting classes in the fall, which is fine. The results will typically be coming, the exams, if they're in June, the results will be coming in August, typically around the second week of August. And we are starting classes around the second week of August as well. So there is a little kind of dance between making sure that if working with your academic advisor over the summer to make sure that you are registering for classes that would not be eligible for credit, or if you decide you want to take the classes again, you can do that as well. And I'll talk a little bit about that more later. If you've taken a gap year, then obviously you can already have those results sent to us. We prefer electronic, if possible. So this is our general inbox, the international admissions at uc.edu. So Pearson, I know, gives you an option to put in an email address. Cambridge, you could actually go ahead and forward those certificates to us directly, and we can verify those results through CIE Direct portal ourselves online. But some boards, especially within the UK, they may require a physical address. So there is our physical address where you can mail or request the results are mailed to the University of Cincinnati from the testing organization directly. And we will be sending a copy of this presentation after, just so you'll have this information. The guidelines for IB credit, just a little overview. The International Baccalaureate Diploma Program is designed for students around the world to receive a global perspective through these classes. Typically, they're taking 3 high level and 3 standard level courses. If you are just taking a few IB classes in addition to a different curriculum, like an American curriculum, for example, that's fine. We will still review those classes or those final exams for credit. Students must receive a score, and along with the career-related program as well. So if you're in the career-related program and you're, this isn't as common, but if you're taking the BTEC and also some IB classes, then go ahead and report those final exam results from the IB for credit. Students must receive a score of 5 or higher for transfer credit, and we do award credit actually for standard level and high level exams. Sue will kind of give you some examples later on. But I also wanted to go through our reporting requirements for IB. IB results should be reported electronically from the IBO or International Baccalaureate Organization to the University of Cincinnati. Our math subjects, or the math subjects will change. So in terms of the credit evaluation. So right now, if you look on our key, it will show just standard level, high level math. And we know that that's not correct anymore, that there are 2 options for math and that both options have a standard level and a high level option to them. So just know that we will be updating the website very shortly after our faculty has finished their review.
Megan, can I just jump in here too? Just really quick also, our faculty are actually taking a look at all of IB. So basically every time that there's a change to the way that we accept credit, our faculty actually review like everything. So any policies regarding that will also be updated on our website. So we definitely recommend that you check it out, and we'll be demoing it later.
Perfect, thank you, Sue.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And these results will be released, typically if you're taking the exams in June, the results will be released in mid-July. Typically we get them by the 1st or 2nd week of July. And you should work with your IB or career-related program coordinator to get these results submitted to the University of Cincinnati directly. And we give some examples here, or some instructions here. If you have been outside of the program or already graduated, so you've taken maybe a gap year, then you can go here to get some more information about reporting those results to us directly after you've graduated. And then AP credit, that would be the most common credit that we'll see within the US, but it's also very popular around the world. It's the College Board Advanced Placement Credit. Those exams are offered, sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing my screen, so I'm going to minimize everything. So they're based on examinations that allow students to tackle college level coursework while in high school. Every institution has their own policies for how they accept AP coursework for transfer credit. At UC in particular, you'll need 3, 4, or 5 for your score for these awards. The state of Ohio determines how we accept AP scores for credit transfer. And we do recommend academic advising prior to pursuing optional AP exam assessments to discuss how credits will apply to your degree program, especially in our STEM subject areas. The timeline for reporting AP, it's similar to IB in that they will typically, the results will come in mid-July. You'll request these results from the College Board to be sent electronically to UC. And it'll take about 2 weeks for delivery and processing. Please make sure to refer to the College Board website for score send directions and policies. So that's an overview of the 3 types of credit that we're going to discuss today. I'm actually going to go ahead and switch it over to Sue, and she's going to give a demo navigating the credit evaluation website, so you can see how some examples of how your credit could transfer over to UC credit. And then also she'll go through the Catalyst portal to show you where you can find that credit once it does post later this summer or in the fall.
Okay, thanks, Megan. So I'm actually going to take the screen away from you for a second.
Feel free.
Got it. Okay. Megan, can you let me know if you see my screen just in case?
I can, yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So the first thing we're going to actually do is I'm going to kind of show you where you can get all of this information and some more details depending on which exam credit that people are bringing in. So if you go to uc.edu/AAS/credit evaluation, one good way to also go about this website is that if you go to uc.edu and use the search function and you type in credit evaluation, this should be the page that pops us as well. But as you can see, like based on the PowerPoint that you'll get earlier, you can actually just click the link and get to this page as well. Where all of this information is going to be held is under types of transfer credit. So if you click on transfer credit, you'll see a notice. So for example, when we have new policies, so this past year, our policies pertaining to COVID, these were updated on our website as well. All of our policies will be on our website. But I kind of wanted to highlight what this page contains. So Megan briefly went over IB, A-level, and AP credit, which you can see here. So under test credits, you'll see information about AP and all the policies surrounding it. IB, A-levels. But as you can see here, there are other types of items as well. So for example, if you have like international coursework that you think might count for any type of credits, or if there's a specific pathway that you're on, that's available here. If you have other items such as credit by exam or certificates that you want to consider, there's information there. Some students who are coming from international schools are also involved with CLEP. So this is like a type of exam where it's a college level examination program where students take a test to basically demonstrate how much they know about a specific subject. So that information is here as well. I wanted to bring your attention to how to read a test key as well. So one of the things that are involved with the way that we evaluate credit is that every time that we have a specific set of credits that we accept from a specific exam, I'm going to use IB here as an example. I'm going to use IB here as an example. So for every exam that we provide, we have a test key. What this means is that if we click here, so as you can see, they're arranged by date. So you have to look at which year that you've taken the IB key, or which year you've taken the exam. And let me see if I can make this a little bigger. So for example, as Megan mentioned before, for IB, the award is for a score of 5 or higher. So you'll be able to see your exam listed here, how many hours you'll receive for the exam in terms of transfer credit. And then you'll be able to see information as to what the UC course equivalencies are. So for example, I'm gonna use Arabic as an example. So if you take the HL Arabic A Literature exam, you'll get 6 hours of Arab 2001 credit. And then you'll get what we have here as Arab 2, and then you see these 3 stars. That's called block credit at UC. What block credit is that we're acknowledging that you'll get some kind of transfer credit, but we don't have a specific course to give you for a specific exam. So in this case, we're giving you 6 hours worth of credit, but we're giving you 5 hours of this specific course, but then we're also giving you 1 hour of a block level course. So what this block credit does is that it gives you kind of like free hours. So if you have a free elective that you need to meet in your degree program, at that point, they would award it based on those hours that you have. So it counts towards that. We'll kind of go into academic advising later as to like what that really means and how you can ask proper questions to get that kind of information as to what type of coursework you'll need. But I also wanted to bring your attention to a little footnote here that shows kinds of breadth of knowledge codes that UC students need in order to graduate in their degree programs. Breadth of knowledge is just another word for general education here at UC. So for example, I'm going to try to bring up an example here. So for example here, for any language courses, there's this footnote for number 1. So if you go to the bottom of the page, you'll see that it says here meets BOK DC. So it will meet our diversity and culture general education requirement if you have any of the courses below here. So it'll give you information regarding general education credit, what exams we even accept for transfer credit, how many hours you'll get, and then what that course will equate to here at UC. So it'll give you some preliminary information on making a decision. And then later when you meet your advisor during orientation, you'll be able to ask some follow-up questions, and then we'll kind of guide you later on how to do so. Okay. Megan, do you have anything you wanted to add here?
Yeah, thank you, Sue. I did put a link to that site where you can see the different types of credit, transfer credit, exam credit in the chat right now. So feel free, and it will be also on the slide later in the presentation where we give you some helpful websites to follow up with later.
And then if you look at that IB key right now, like Megan definitely said earlier, those 2 new math courses that are coming into effect this year, May 2021, those are still pending review. So they're not actually going to be on that right now. But when they are, you'll actually see an IB key that says IB key 2021 through present. And then that will be the newest one that you want to refer to.
Yeah, and you can refer, I mean, there is math listed there right now, but it is the old iteration of the math classes. We were offering math credit for the high level math in the past and not for the standard level, which is a little different from some of the other subjects. But again, this is all going to be updated. So for now, hold tight and we'll get you that information as soon as possible.
Thanks. Sorry, still me.
It's okay. I'm gonna go ahead. No, it's okay. I can go ahead and share.
Yes, that would be really helpful actually. So that
I'm gonna share my screen again. So let's see, because we were on the demo. And the next screen actually does give a little overview of Catalyst, the Catalyst portal. And so Sue's actually going to go through this part as well, but I can give a quick overview of, give me just a second, of how to access Catalyst. This was also covered within the Next Steps webinar. So if you attended the Next Steps webinar, we would have touched on this during that presentation. But essentially, after you've been admitted and you've confirmed or accepted your offer to UC, about 24, or well, I should say closer to 48 hours after that, you should have received an email from University of Cincinnati with information on how you could set up your password to be able to log in to our different systems, including the Catalyst student portal. So you would have received an email from University of Cincinnati, and it would have been your username, which is typically a combination of your last name, first name, and then your temporary password is typically capital U, lowercase c, exclamation. It's your month, day, year, year. And this is the same password once you've set it up, or same username and password that you'll use to check your UC email, to log into your Canvas portal where you'll check your classes and your syllabi for your classes this fall. And it's the same login where you will log into Catalyst. But we do have the information here if you have any issues getting in, or if for some reason your account gets locked or you forgot your password. feel free to contact our IT support. Do also make sure when you're setting up your password that you put a personal email in there, like a Gmail account, so that if you forget your password, we can send you a reset email. And so I covered this one, and then I'm going to also just show you the example of where you'll log in to Catalyst. And then I'm going to kick it back over to Sue, and I'll go ahead and change the slides for you as you talk through them. So this would be where you would log in with that username and password.
Okay, so I'm going to walk you through on how to look at your test credit awards and anything else that you send to us. So if you have CLIP or if you have AP, IB, A level, you can actually see what all of those credits will equate to in one place. The same goes if, like, for example, you've attended a domestic institution in the past. Let's say that, like, you visited Ohio State for some reason and took classes there online over a summer or something like that. All of those credits will show in one area. So the first thing you want to do is, after you log in, you'll be taken to the student homepage. And in the student homepage, you're going to want to click My Academics. The next slide, please. Okay. And then on this left-hand side, you'll see a lot of different bars with navigations. These are actually folders, so if you click on them, they'll actually expand with more options. So you want to go to Academic Progress here. And then you're going to want to click the Transfer Credit Evaluation button. And here, as you can see here, we used me as an example, and I don't have any credits to transfer into the university. So everything is blank here. And this is probably what you're going to see right now if you log into your UC account after confirming to the university. However, once we start receiving, like, your final IB transcripts and all of that information, we'll slowly be updating this, and we update this about once a week. We generally tend to update it every Monday or Tuesday. So if you get this, if you send us any, like, transcripts or anything like that, we'll be posting it to your records. I do know that Megan has worked with many students who send us, like, IB exam transcripts early during application. So in those cases, you might actually log in and you actually might see credit posted to your account already. So those are things that you just want to check. If you have questions, so for example, if you feel like you've already sent the transcript to the University of Cincinnati, I would say in general, the rule of thumb we like to give students is about 2 weeks. In general, even if, like, you send your transcripts next day and it's delivered electronically, people at our university need to actually look at it and review it and post credits to your account. So we say about 2 weeks. And if it's been 2 weeks and you see no updates, like, definitely reach out to us so that we can actually assist you. We generally get back. Megan, like, I know you're really quick. In our office, we try to get back to every student within 24 to 48 hours, even on a busy day. So definitely reach out to us.
All right. So just to add to that, I know we do have a lot of students, in addition to IB, like if you took a gap year, we have a lot of students that have already sent in their AS level credit, so the advanced subsidiary. So if you did that, actually, we have been sending it to Credit Eval if it came in with your application from your high school. And so a lot of you will also be able to see that advanced subsidiary credit already on your account in Catalyst. But just know that when your full A-level credit comes in, that advanced subsidiary credit will be replaced with, like, the full A-level. If you've taken, say you've already taken AS level math, and now you're going to have the full A-level for that math, that will get replaced with the full A-level credit. However, if it's a subject and you only took the AS level and you're not taking the full A-level, then that credit won't change. It'll be as you see it today. So just so you know. And then I'm just going to minimize all of this. And well, there was one question actually really quick. Someone had asked, if you get a B in math in A level, will you still get 5 credits as a transfer? And so if it's a math question at this point, I mean, a B in math I'm assuming that that would be equivalent to at least a 5 or higher, but it's hard for me to know in terms of, we would be looking at that final IB exam transcript, and then those scores will be on a 1 to 7 scoring system. So we're looking at a 5 or higher for that transfer credit. And in terms of the math credit, as I mentioned before, that will be updated shortly. So I'm not going to be able to answer that directly at this point, but just stay tuned and feel free to reach out to your admissions counselor contact. I might be your admissions counselor, or you might be working with one of my colleagues, and just feel free to keep in touch with us over the summer. So just to go over the next step after you've confirmed your admission, I want to make sure that everyone on this call has registered for their new student orientation. That's very important that you've gone in after you've confirmed. You can do this actually right away. You don't even have to wait 24 hours to register for orientation. It's all actually done through the same portal that we use for admissions. So you don't even have to wait for everything to transfer into Catalyst and everything. So go ahead and go to this website, make sure that you've registered for orientation. It will be mostly online again this year. It's mostly virtual, but there are some steps that you need to complete with orientation virtually before you will be able to meet with your academic advisor. And meeting with your academic advisor, of course, is very important because that allows you to get scheduled for your classes. And it also will allow you to discuss your exam credit with the advisor. And Sue's going to give us more information in just a minute here on kind of some questions you can ask your advisor to kind of help point you in the right direction in terms of this credit. But as I mentioned here, complete your required virtual orientation first, and then advising sessions will begin in mid-May. So we have a little bit of time, we're at the end of April here. So just, our confirmation deadline is May 1st for most of our programs. So that's why we do wait till mid-May to kind of start those official advising sessions, but there's no reason why you can't go through and do your orientation now, or get started with it now, I should say. And then you'll also be meeting with your student orientation leaders, which are peer leaders that are current enrolled students, and they'll give you some great information as well. And you'll be learning more about the different tools, including Catalyst, but also Canopy accounts, so that you can navigate and receive the correct supports that you need as you're a University of Cincinnati student this fall. So I'm going to kick it over to Sue again, so she can give us some more information about kind of some questions that you might ask your academic advisor as you're meeting with them.
Sure. So one thing that I just wanted to highlight, which is a very common question that we get here at UC, we get the question from students, how do my credits transfer? And basically, if you meet the minimum test score requirements, your credits will transfer if we accept those credits. But there's actually another layer that goes into it. So one thing that we want to guide students to always ask their academic advisor is, how do these transfer credits apply to my degree program? And one thing that I wanted to one example that I wanted to put out there is that, for example, if you're in biology in A&S, well, actually biology is a bad example. Let's say you're in psychology in A&S, arts and sciences here at UC, you may have more flexibility with your degree program where you're able to substitute some courses that meets like your free elective requirements or your general education requirements. But then if you're in a program like engineering in the College of Engineering, it's an extremely structured program, and you don't actually have that much wiggle room in terms of like what extra courses that you can substitute in for your degree program. So having said that, you want to ask your advisor on how those transfer credits apply to your degree. The other question that I would definitely recommend asking, especially if you're bringing in any science or math courses to UC, is asking, how do these courses prepare me for academic success at UC? Because, for example, like I'll use myself as an example. Like I took AP chemistry when I was in my second year of high school. So like for the second year of secondary school. So it had been a while since I took chemistry in college. So what that meant is that if you were in a program that required something like organic chemistry or higher level chemistry, even if you bring in those chemistry credits, you may want to review that coursework by taking the course again, or prepping for it accordingly. So those are questions that you want to ask your academic advisor, because we don't want you to bring in courses and then skip them, which is great financially, but then you like struggle in upper level coursework. So that's something that we definitely want to prevent.
Yes, starting your freshman year, we have had a little bit of feedback from some students that starting freshman year with organic chemistry specifically can be pretty rough. So just, yeah, I think that is, it depends on the student. For some students that might be completely fine.
Right.
So that's why it is important to talk to your academic advisor about this as well.
Right. And then it's also something like if you have time during the summer, like even if it's not necessarily taking the course again, it'll just give you some information on how to prepare and what to expect. The same thing goes for math. We get that question a lot just because like a lot of science programs require math, higher level math. But you know, if you've taken those kinds of like exam assessments early in your secondary career, then like if you go to college, like you just might want to refresh that information a little bit. So that's just something that we get a lot of feedback after the fact. So we want to bring that up now so that you're ready to ask those questions when you go into orientation.
Yeah, and we just had a quick question about reporting exam results from Cambridge. And so just as a reminder, if you did take your exams for the A levels or AS levels through the Cambridge International Exams, you should be able to send us those results directly, actually from you, from the student. We don't have to have them come directly from Cambridge. And we should be able to verify those online. There's a specific center ID, and there's usually like a student ID that are on the results slip or results page that you'll send, or certificate. So we should be able to go and verify those results. This is not true for Pearson at Excel, unfortunately. So those you would want to make sure that they're reported directly from Pearson. And this kind of actually is a good segue into the next page, which is our website links that would be helpful moving forward. So if you look here, this third link that says IB and A-level reporting, that is the admissions page that discusses IB and A-levels. And so if you go there, we do have information, specific reporting information for Pearson, for example, and the page that we would recommend that you'd go to, or the website, to report those results. Another important page would be the FAQs page on the credit evaluation site for COVID-19. So basically, we understand that exams are, the way that exams are given right now have changed, or some exams have been canceled, and the credit is coming in through a combination of school evaluations being sent to the testing organizations and grading done on the testing organization's end. Like, we've realized that all of this has changed over this last year due to the pandemic. And so we have kind of addressed those questions, but I would say overall, the way we've awarded the credit has not changed. So as long as those results are coming in official from the testing organization, whether it be College Board, whether it be the International Baccalaureate Organization, or whether it be one of those British, it could be Cambridge, Pearson, or OCR, one of those others, then we will typically be reviewing and accepting that exam credit for credit. And then this is the Advising Center directory, but again, it is very important. This has some helpful resources listed, but again, very important to get started with your orientation. That will be the most direct route to being assigned an advisor and to being able to meet with an advisor sooner rather than later. And then, and getting that contact information for the advisor so that later, if you need to follow up with them in August, you can do so. And then the pre-professional advising and page is listed here. I might have Sue if she wants to add something about this, but I know that if you are in like a pre-med or pre-pharmacy, pre-dental track, that you also would want to kind of discuss your advanced or your test credits with the pre-professional advising team, and which classes are coming in as exam credit versus which classes you'd be taking at UC.
Correct. So for example, again, I'm going to bring the sciences into this. So this kind of goes into my earlier point about asking like regarding academic preparedness, because with pre-professional schools, many probably have heard that they're very stringent on what kind of grades you receive during university. So if you receive something like if you receive anything under an A, it becomes very difficult in certain areas such as pre-med. So if you're bringing in test credits and you're skipping ahead again to upper level coursework, it might be a little bit more difficult in some areas. So that's kind of where you want to meet with the pre-professional advising team and say, hey, I have all of these test credits and I can skip this coursework. But is that a good idea? Or like, hey, is that going to impact my academic progress at UC? Or is that going to have a more long-term effect? Another area that you may want to consider is that for some of these pre-professional areas of study, graduate schools or med schools or professional programs, they want to see that coursework being done at the university level. So that just might be something to consider as well. So again, that information we don't always really have. So definitely reach out to the pre-professional advising team to get those questions answered.
Okay, thank you, Sue. And then our last page here is just some general contact information as you go forward. If you have any additional questions, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions here in a minute. But if you have any questions that come up after the webinar, or you're viewing this webinar after the fact and you have questions, feel free to send them to your admissions counselor. For example, I work with the Middle East, North Africa territory, but we have staff like Nick or Maria. We have other staff in our office that you'll be communicating with. So go ahead and keep communicating with your admissions counselor contact from our office. And then also we have our credit eval email here. So if you have any specific questions in regards to the credit that you've received or kind of timing of when the credit will come in or how to report the credit, go ahead and send those to the credit eval email listed here. And then if you have any questions about orientation, I did have a question about a student that had registered for orientation and their session is actually in June. I know that these sessions are assigned on a first come, first serve basis. So that is a good point that there may be students now that are registering for orientation and are not receiving a session until it's after May. It would be in June. I believe there are some to-do items that you can do before that in Canvas. Like there might be some modules that you complete online, kind of self-paced. So go ahead and make sure you follow those instructions from orientation office. But if you have any questions, just send them to orientation@uc.edu and they'll be happy to reply to your email in a timely manner. So we're going to open up for any questions. Feel free to put them in the chat. And actually, if you want to change to everyone instead of direct message as you're putting them in the chat, then that will help other people to maybe be able to see the same question, unless it's very specific to your situation. So I see a couple.
Well, you can also unmute yourself to ask your questions as well if chatting is difficult.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
I did see. Okay. I'll kick it off because I did see one question earlier regarding A-level submissions. So I think it's important to address the gap year, especially with COVID happening.
Yes.
So if you had already sent your official scores to the university like a year ago, those don't expire right away. So if you've sent them already and you took a gap year and decided not to come to UC, but you're reconsidering that now, that's fine. We probably have your scores already. If you want to email credit evaluation to check on that, you can. If you have your application portal information as well, you can actually log in and it can actually show you what types of documents received from you. And it will say credit evaluation A-level, or credit evaluation or like official high school transcript. So you'll be able to see that information there as well. But definitely email us and that'll be totally fine and we can follow up.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to go back to, oh no, I just stopped sharing my screen. I apologize. Let me share it again. So let's see, from the beginning. So, okay, so I'm going to go back one slide here. Someone had asked a question about where they can find, I think they might have entered the webinar late. They were asking where they could find the keys for IB credit. So it would be this page right here. So I had shared this earlier in the chat. So go ahead, you would go to the UC credit evaluation and types of transfer credit page, and you can find the credits there for IB. And like Sue mentioned before, we will be updating the key soon with the math or any other updates that are needed for IB. Let's see. And then, let's see. And then someone had asked, does this mean, since I mentioned if you had an appointment for advising in June, does that mean you need to wait until June to work with your academic advisor? And in this case, I would say, feel free, you can email orientation@uc.edu to check with them, but I do believe that until you've completed your orientation, you won't be meeting with your advisor until that point. That being said, if you have questions about your credit evaluation or transfer credit, exam credit, you can send those to the credeval@ucmail.uc.edu email account, and we can answer.
Sure, and I can clarify that a little bit. So, for example, so me and my team, we work at the university to evaluate the credit and help understand what that translates to here at UC. We also work with the state of Ohio to determine any policy surrounding it. So like, hey, like what is our policy surrounding IB, or what is our policy surrounding A levels? When it comes to academic advising, the difference is how does this apply to my situation specifically? That information, like our team doesn't do that just because we don't have that information for every single degree program here at the university, since we have like a lot of different programs. So that's at that point at orientation, that's when you'll be asking those questions. However, if you do have like a very specific question regarding your case, or if it's something where like you need to know what courses are equated, like you need to know like what your courses count for because of like a visa status or anything like that, then definitely like reach out. I think international admissions will probably be the best bet, Megan, just because I think Jason answers a lot of those questions too. So probably international admissions will be the best point of contact. When it comes to like, hey, like I'm just interested to see how my math courses count towards, I just want to keep using engineering because that's where we get the most questions. But if you have those kinds of questions, we request that you wait until summer orientation. I do.
Oh yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
Yeah, no, you can go. I'm just going down the question list.
Right, like the dual degree question, I think was the second one that I saw, but it was actually, I think, a direct message to me. So someone had asked about a UC, does UC allow dual degrees? And yes, we have a lot of students that declare double majors. So that's definitely a good question you can, or topic that you can also discuss with your academic advisor. Do you have anything to add to that, Sue?
Nope.
Info about the visa process. I did put I put some information in the chat. So if another important step in the process right now, in addition to registering for orientation, would be accessing your iBearcats Global pre-arrival checklist. So if you go to ibearcatsglobal.uc.edu and you click on the limited services menu, you should be able to log in. You should have received an email from UC International with these login instructions within about 24 to 48 hours after you were admitted to UC initially. You don't have to have confirmed to start this process, but of course, you want to have confirmed by May 1st, by our confirmation deadline. And if you have any questions about the immigration process, visa process, you can continue working with your admissions counselor, but also you can send them to international.students@uc.edu. Someone else had asked, would classes be in person from fall 2021? And at this point, our president has announced that they are working as long as they have safety as a first priority, but the goal is to have most of the classes be back in person for the fall 2021. That's the hope. I could see it being also, there could be a hybrid option. There might still be online options, but we have, that's the messaging that we've received so far. Sue, do you have anything to add to that? No. And then someone had asked if there was an option to do the first semester online. And so certainly, yes, continue to work with your admissions counselor contact. And if you're planning to start that first semester online, I know we have some students that might not be able to get their visa in time, or they might be worried about board exams in India that were postponed to July or potentially August, and that timeline of taking their final boards and getting here in time. So continue to work with your admissions counselor contact. I would say we want to kind of handle these questions on a case-by-case basis, but we do certainly have we have some programs that are completely online. We do have some classes that will still be online for fall, but we should have more information as the summer goes on. And then what is the deadline for the I-20? There is no specific deadline for the I-20 for submitting your documents for the I-20. But because there are some pretty long visa wait times right now around the world, and I mean, I know some embassies aren't open yet, but some are slowly reopening. I would say work on this process, the sooner the better. There are options, like once you get that I-20 document, that immigration document, if for some reason you're not able to get the visa in time to start and to arrive for fall, there are options to defer the I-20 as well to, like, for example, spring. So it's better, I would say, to work on it now, work on it early and have that be an option than wait and just wait and see and then have it be kind of too late later if you're starting that I-20 process in the, like, later in the summer. So to try to start it early. And how can we request to receive a detailed academic coursework outline for specific majors? So
Do you want me to answer that one?
sure, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Thank you, Sue.
So if you're referring to academic curriculum, so like what do you take your first semester and then what do you take your second semester? Most university pages at UC, if you actually go to uc.edu, and then there's a search function, and if you go to your specific major of interest, so for example, like College of Engineering, like if you go to the engineering website, they list all of their curriculums by major for civil engineering, things like that. Same thing with arts and sciences. Like if you go in there and then you go to Arts and Sciences College and then you look up psychology, they have a curriculum map. Having said that, I would definitely advise you to speak with your with your advisor regarding that when you're going into orientation, because that's only used as a guide. There's a lot of things to talk about regarding sequencing, regarding the way that, like, the order in which you take courses, what happens when you plug in multiple courses and substitute for multiple courses. So that is really just used as a guideline to help you prepare for those conversations. Yeah, and thanks, Megan. I see that you put in the chat.
I think this is what you're referring to, because it varies kind of. I know some of our colleges have links like on their page that are a little bit different, but the general link would be this web apps page where basically it lists all of our programs of study. You can find your program, make sure that you select the bachelor's degree level program and not a master's, obviously. And then once you're on that page, you can go scroll down, and typically there's a curriculum section, and then you can click on your curriculum to see kind of a general overview of your curriculum and the classes that you'll be taking. But again, yeah, working with your academic advisor, and they'll be able to help you with any questions regarding your exam credit, dual degrees, etc. Do we have any other questions? I know we're kind of coming up on the hour mark here, and we don't want to keep you past 9, or well, sorry, it's 9:30 our time, and it may be, I know it's all different times of day where you are. So feel free to answer or ask any questions in the chat there, or let's see, we have another one. We've received an email from Cincinnati regarding summer classes. Oh, that's a good question. Okay. So there is a process where you can start early with UC and you can take some summer classes. I would definitely refer back to the email that you received from your program of study, because this does involve filling out like a registration form for the summer classes that then does get you connected with your advisor in terms of that summer registration process. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. I can't really elaborate on it. I wish I could, but I think if I did, I might give you the wrong information. So feel free to go back to that email that you received. If you didn't receive an email and you still have questions about this, or you haven't received a response to a question you've sent in response to that email, again, follow up with your admissions counselor from our office. So if you're working with me or you're working with one of my colleagues, we'd be happy to assist you in those next steps. But it is a good opportunity to kind of get a couple classes done early if that works out for your situation. Yeah. Yeah, of course, you're welcome. Are there any other questions? And I know this webinar, it gave you a great overview. I know a lot of this is going to be really specific to your individual situations, right? So that's the whole idea of, exam credits. You're all taking different exams. So just make sure you keep in touch with your admissions counselor and with our credit eval team. And we can take a couple more questions. So the next one was more of a general question. When we confirm our admission, we are already, okay. So someone was asking about confirming admissions when you're not really sure if you're not 100% sure you're going to attend UC. So I do get this question a lot. So I would say typically, if you've pared it down to where we're in like your top 2 schools and you're really not sure yet, I think that confirming your admission and paying that $100 fee is a good idea to kind of move forward with the process, especially as it gets closer to May 1st. We won't refund the $100 confirmation fee if you change your mind. However, we can cancel the confirmation if you change your mind. There's no other penalty other than that $100 fee. So it's better to start the process at this point in the cycle. Like we're getting close to May 1st and we certainly don't go past May 1st. Make sure you've confirmed by May 1st so that you don't miss that opportunity for fall to start in the fall semester. I don't know I know this is more of an admissions question, but do you have anything to add to that, Sue? Okay. And then someone else had asked, yeah, I think I'm just getting some thank yous. So thank you for attending. Yeah, we really appreciate you attending this webinar with us. We're hoping to do this at least on a yearly basis for our incoming students, and we'll provide this recording to our spring admits as well, so that you all have that information. And again, just really keep in contact with us, keep in contact with your international admissions counselor contact, credit eval. If you have questions about immigration, email international.students@uc.edu and our immigration advisors can help you with that. And then of course, orientation team. And don't forget to register for housing. That's another little final reminder if you haven't done so already.
And then also, and I don't know about international admissions, but at least with us, we really try hard to keep in contact with each other in our offices as well. So don't fret too much about emailing the wrong email address, because more likely than not, somebody will try to get you to the right person. So even if, like, for example, like if you email Megan about a credit evaluation question, she's really good about emailing me and like forwarding that to me, and vice versa. So I would say don't worry about it too much, because I can see how that would be very confusing for students too.
Yeah. So are there any final questions? If there aren't, we're gonna, oh, I see one more. Is there a mandatory abroad co-op? That's a very specific question. I would say chat with your admissions counselor about this, and then we can and then I would talk with your academic advisor. You'll have a co-op advisor as well. But typically I can give you an overview that if you're in a co-op program, typically students they have 5 required co-ops, and typically they might do 1 or 2 abroad out of those 5. That's just kind of a common occurrence. But yeah, thank you for attending this webinar, and congratulations again on your admissions to the University of Cincinnati for the fall 2021 semester, or future semesters if you're watching this recording in the future. And we look forward to welcoming you to campus this fall. And thank you again for attending. And thank you, Sue, for co-hosting.
Thank you.
Thank you.